Thanks, Lascan Corla. Minister, I hope you've been briefed on the severe flooding in Bantry yesterday as a result of Storm Barra. From early yesterday morning when the storm made landfall, the Fire Brigade and Cork County Council were out doing everything they could to prevent flooding. Substantial parts of the square were flooded, with over 20 premises affected. Most challenging, Minister, is the fact that this is the fourth time Bantry has flooded in 18 months. In the words of Danielle Delaney, chairperson of the Bantry Business Association, without a major flood defence scheme, Bantry will continue to be flooded. Without it, the workers on the ground are fighting a losing battle. Reports from the town yesterday indicate that remedial flood relief works carried out by Cork County Council did prevent further flooding, but the capacity of sandbags and pumps is limited. A permanent flood defence scheme is the only solution, and it is one Bantry needs immediately. Minister, when I last spoke to Minister Patrick O'Donovan on this matter in September, I highlighted the increased risk Bantry was facing in the winter months. As you know, Minister, I regularly seek updates on the Bantry scheme, along with others in Cork South West, from the OPW. At every stage I've welcomed progress, and I appreciate there is a set-out process, but the reality is it's taking too long. Phrases such as almost completed and it is expected that the preferred tender will be notified in the coming weeks are not good enough as the town floods again. Yesterday we had Storm Barra, only the second storm this winter. There will be more, with each one bringing the risk of flooding to Bantry and other areas. Minister, can you assure Bantry businesses and homeowners that this will be prioritised by the OPW?
And from the outset, can I just give apologies from Minister Patrick O'Donovan. He's not in a position to attend today due to family issues. And I did speak to him last night very late, and he has absolutely no issue talking with you all, and it's for the second one as well. So just to pass that on. So the flood risk management plans launched in May 2018 included a recommendation to progress the project-led development and planning of a flood relief scheme for Bantry. As you know, a steering group comprising representatives from the Office of Public Works and Cork County Council is in place to progress the Bantry flood relief scheme. The plans, with outlined designs of possible measures, estimated a preliminary total project cost of €6.7 million for the scheme, which will protect some 198 properties. The viable scheme option for Bantry is identified at the CFRAM level of assessment and having an estimated cost of €6.7 million, consisted of fluvial flood defences comprising of walls and embankments and tidal flood defences comprising of sea walls, and is expected to provide protection against a 100-year fluvial flood or a 200-year tidal flood. On the 11th of March 2021, Cork County Council, in partnership with the OPW, issued the tender documentation for the procurement of engineering consultants via etenders.ie, and tenders were returned on the 30th of July 2021. An assessment of these tenders have been completed by Cork County Council, and is expected that consultants will be appointed in the coming weeks. Deputy, I know you were told that a couple of months ago, and I can't answer that question for you as to why they haven't been appointed already. Once consultants are appointed to progress the flood relief scheme for Bantry, consultation with statutory and non-statutory bodies, as well as the public, will take place at the appropriate stages to ensure that all parties have the opportunity to input into the development of this scheme. In the meantime, Cork County Council has engaged a contractor to treat some of the invasive species in preparation for a flood relief scheme for the town. The flood relief scheme will be funded from within the allocated €1.3 billion for flood risk management over the period of the National Development Plan to 2030. Provision for the cost of the scheme is included in the Office of Public Works multi-annual capital allocation. Cork County Council is also progressing the preparation of the consultants' brief that is expected to issue in Q1 of 2022 to carry out the repair and reconstruction of the Main Street culvert, which has been identified as a significant element contributing to flooding on Main Street, New Street and north and south of Wolfetown Square in recent months. The OPW is liaising with Cork County Council on the integration of these works with the flood relief scheme for the town. In March 2021, an application under the Minor Flood Mitigation Works and Coastal Protection Scheme for interim works to mitigate flooding in Bantry, which includes installation of non-return valves and provision of mobile pumps, was submitted to the OPW by Cork County Council. This application of funding of approximately €140,000 has been approved, and the Council are progressing these works. A preferred tender has been identified for supply and installation of the non-return valves. The contractor's health and safety information and insurances are currently being finalised to allow the appointment of the contractor to be confirmed. In addition to the above proposals, prior to forecasted extreme weather events such as the current event Storm Barra, local area staff from CCC, Cork County Council, are implementing interim measures to assist and mitigate flooding, such as the deployment, as you said, Deputy, of sandbags at Sands Quay and mobile pumping.
State Minister, any acceleration of the process would be essential in getting the badly needed defences, and I'll take the Minister up on his offer to meet with us in relation to this. Bantry and the wider community the town supports needs permanent defences as soon as possible, and in the meantime it needs additional support to deal with the inevitable flooding they'll face. I've previously raised the point that a proactive engagement with the community during the consultation phases that engages in a partnership model will help alleviate any potential tension points and ultimately help improve the scheme. Also, when we discussed this matter back in September, I referenced that Bantry would benefit from the minor flood mitigation works and coastal protection scheme. Funding has only been approved for sites up to the end of September, so I really hope that Bantry will be included in any further announcements for the final quarter of this year. Any short-term investment will have manifold benefits for Bantry and its community and businesses. They cannot wait any longer.
Good. Again, thank you both deputies. You'd be more aware of this than I would, but Bantry experienced significant flooding yesterday morning around 6 a.m. It appears that the source of the floodwater was a mixture of tidal, fluvial and pluvial, as the main culvert through the town was also running full at the time of flooding. As you've said, the fire brigade were on site and pumped over the quay wall, but it is estimated at the moment that there were 23 properties flooded on the south side of the square and New Street. It is difficult to know at this stage the level of the water, but one property on New Street, the gift shop, is estimated that there was probably 1.5 inches in his property. The floodwater abated around 8 a.m. and the fire brigade pumped the last of the water from the north side of the quay. But I know how difficult it is. I was in business myself for many, many years, and to have water entering a premises is absolutely soul destroying. Trading for businesses has been difficult enough over the last while, and you know, when you're coming into that 3 weeks window coming into Christmas where trading is so important, you know, to stave off the challenges in the new year when things are much quieter, it is very, very difficult. I do agree with you the importance of expediting the scheme, and I will also raise the issue that you've said. I'm very familiar with the Barra Peninsula. Holiday there last year, have relatives down in that area as well, and you know, we are challenged ourselves on the Waterford coast with coastal erosion. So certainly I will bring that back, and I really do emphasise and sympathise with the businesses that were flooded yesterday morning. We know flooding very well in Portlaw ourselves, and it's absolutely the worst type of mess to try and clean up afterwards, and especially when it gets into the electrics. So hopefully things were better overnight. So thank you very much for your time.